I notice things and they make me laugh, and then I usually like store them in the back of my head somewhere, and then they end up on the stage.
I think that there was a point in time where rap was pretty much like non-existent in Ohio.
I actually grew up listening to pop music.
It's the coolest thing in the entire universe.
I love Ohio. I miss it.
Stomach started growling, and he started slowing the way he was walking and taking smaller strides, and you could tell something was definitely not right.
All my stuff has literary elements to it.
We've gotten to such a phase where it's people can just say they're an artist.
You know, wading through a sea of drunks, trying to do the best he can for the band.
Being in a room full of all your best friends, even if you don't know anybody, because you can sing and dance together and just have a really good time.
If you don't know, you don't need to know, man.
Would you like to do a podcast?
Like Gary or the Cuyahoga River.
You're always gonna make it into something, don't you? You can't just hang out.
People complain that there's nothing to do here, but there is. You just have to go look for it.
The nursery and all of the trees cross over the dark, and some old parking lots hold my whimpering thoughts, and I'm on the next train. You and me, can't you see what this means? In the light of a torch, realize nothing is forced, nothing is forced.
Guys, welcome to Nursery Podcast. My name is Lee Boyle.
Tim Smiley.
And today we're going to talk about our 20s. Tim, what do you have as far as thoughts about that era of your life?
Well, I've been thinking about it lately, actually, because I'm 33 now. So I turned 20 in 2003. I can look back at it now and see that I lived my 20s by how I felt. If that makes sense.
Sure.
I got myself into relationships, good and bad. Well, good and bad. With, friends, women, all sorts of things. But it was never, is this smart? Is this advantageous? Is this going to make me any money? That sort of thing. It was always, this feels like this.
Yeah.
And it has made me feel like this. I don't know what you'd call that. Emo.
Right.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know what it is.
Did you know what you wanted to do?
No.
Okay.
No.
Did you know what you wanted?
Okay. No. And that's the thing. It's
Yeah.
been since I graduated high school, and then I moved in with Todd. Reference episode Van Magnets and
Yeah, what was it called?
I forget.
Dang it. I'm losing track now.
reference Todd's episode.
There's an episode of Nursery in the archive.org that says Van Magnets and something else. If you find the word Van Magnets in our archive, go check it out. But yeah, you moved
Todd.
in with your buddy.
Yeah, and then since then I've not had a plan.
Since then.
Counting
right now.
Right now, I'm formulating a plan.
Yeah. That's your 30s, right? That's what people say.
Right, but is that like, I feel like I should have already done this. I should have. I feel like I've had this idea in my mind to write a memoir. Like that would be interesting. But
sure,
this line comes to mind of like me imparting whatever it is I'm saying to like a younger person and saying, you can fuck around completely until you're about 25, and that's when people start to notice, and they go, "Hey, man, you got to get this together."
Sure. Okay.
You can't. What are you doing? Why are you sleeping in your car? You're 25.
Yeah.
Why you don't have any money? Not.
Yeah.
Why Why don't you have your shit together? Your bills, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you know what's in your bank account? That sort of thing.
Okay.
And I'm not saying money is the be all end all, but it took my entire 20s for me to realize, love it or hate it, It is necessary.
Yeah.
Because my dad, and I remember distinctly growing up, my dad was always like, oh, he loves money, and he's like, it was very important to him, but like in a dick. He's being like a dick about it.
Yeah.
And he's used it to like control me, my sister, that sort of thing. As some parents do. Not that he really gave us much, but like it, it's if you need something from someone, they have power over you.
Right. Like who pays the bills in this house? Under
Exactly.
This roof? Yeah,
Exactly.
Sure. A lot of dads say that kind of stuff.
Sure. So
I imagine.
From that, I was like, well, fuck it, I don't care about money. And then I didn't. And then I was like homeless, but even then I wasn't like, oh, I should get this together. And but it took that long for me to be like, oh, it's not evil.
It's not evil.
It's necessary. I don't love it, but in order to live in this world the way that it is, and it's not going to be different, I need to have some of this, stuff.
Well, it sounds like a defeatist thing for a second there, but people knowing what they should do and what they want to do and trying to separate those two things is detrimental. Those are one and the same thing. Like, you didn't just go off money because that was your heart's desire. You thought you should. Right. Like, you did it out of some practicality somewhere in your mind.
Right.
And
or perhaps spite.
And like people are always trying to separate. They're like, no, what is it that you really, really want? They're always asking that question. And it's like, because they think that you're supposed to separate. Like, I should probably go see Tim and talk to him a little bit with do you want to go see Tim and talk to him, when they're usually the same.
Right. But there is a distinctive want to, I should.
There is,
because
but
I should.
Sometimes you can't, if you try to find those two, like, it's not really there. Like, like money, like ideal, you're gonna spin yourself out into this world that you created that's all ideals, and you won't live here anymore.
That's true. I was so idealistic as a young man.
I mean, you just got rid of money and were homeless a little. That's not the worst thing.
That's true. But and it was always the world should be like this. Exactly. And it should be like that, and that's fine. But when it continues to not be as it should be, in my opinion, or whoever's opinion, that you're very unhappy. So it's not, I'm not saying give up or give in or anything like that, sell out, nothing like that. It's just realize that the things are, the world around us that we can't affect in any way, it's the way that it is, and we can either sit around in despair of it, or learn to exist within it, within its systems, within its boundaries, false as they are, within its money, having a home, anything. We as creatures can exist out of doors and eat grass and stuff, but we don't now.
No,
we have houses and those things are great. I really like indoors.
Right.
I wouldn't make it outside.
Sure.
Other people would.
Yeah.
I would not.
Well, I mean, I think that the realization is there, and you have the realization you're referring to so that you can continue. But kind of what sustains you as like having a good life might more just be getting high off stuff, like getting high off this conversation or music or weed or whatever. But that, I think the heart of it is what like really brings you like hardcore joy, right? I'm not saying you gotta dig and find it. Like some people are like, I don't know what I like. What are my hobbies? And I don't mean that. I just mean like somebody has probably accidentally got like kind of naturally high off some stuff, and that's the good stuff. Like all that other like
your bliss, your bliss,
like whatever, like in the past episodes we talk about music and stuff like that, and that's one of our definite things that we definitely know beyond a shadow of a doubt works for us,
right? And
so like you just hold on so tight to that stuff because that's the real stuff, and it's in everything. It's in every little tiny thing you have. So that's what's nice is like the concrete stuff is sometimes found in your conceptual mind. Right. I mean, that sounds dumb, but like, no, it doesn't. Like music is seriously in every little tiny thing,
right?
And it's all good. Like there's there's some certainty in thinking that,
sure, for sure,
and believing that. But like, there's not so much certainty in like being like, how can I be a diplomat and express myself to the world through not money, and then make sure that I'm somehow representing the, like it sucks. Like
it does.
That's never, even if you have the realization you're talking about, it's still nothing without those big highs, right?
For sure. Because what would it matter? Otherwise?
Right. And so you're mentioning your 20s here, and maybe want and should are our little themes here, but I'll give you a brief synopsis of in my early 20s, I just felt like a teenager for some of it, like a lot of people did. It didn't matter. Like I just felt like I was still in high school. I'd still play the same shows we played in high school and play them to the friends of friends that were a little younger than us, and we would like somehow still be in some dumb little circuit of those young people, kind of in denial that we're not there anymore, whatever we did.
Right.
And then mid 20s, I kind of tried to grow up. I got married right at 25, and so that was like you said, 25, you get like older and you grow up. I felt like I was like old and grown up at that point. I always said I was old. I acted like I was old all the time. It was a huge waste of time. I always, not the marriage, the talking about being old.
Right.
And and I would be like, at 27, that was my worst birthday of all time. I like hated my life. I hated like that I was like I'm almost 30. I'm almost 30. Poor me. And it was such a waste of time to feel that way.
Yeah.
And actually, my friends made the actual day of my birthday just fine.
Right.
It was really great. But
I
was so... And then 30, my 29th and 30th birthday were amazing.
Yeah.
It was all just awesome. And at 29... I went on a bunch of tours with my friends and stuff, and felt like I was sowing my wild oats at the last minute. Even at 29, I like went out and quit my job and went way out somewhere and worked at a camp, and like it was all like felt like I was getting it all in at the last second. Like I arrived at the camp and I'm like, hey, we're all in our 20s, right? I'm like 29,
right?
And I'm like
counting down to
like hanging out with a 21-year-old. I'm like, we're the same guy.
We're the same person.
And like
we want the same thing.
I thought about age a lot, and like then my 30s hit, and I was just happy. It was fine.
Right.
It was totally fine.
Nothing. Well, because, and I'll tell you what it is. I think, in my opinion, 25. I think the reason that's crucial, is because when you're young, obviously you don't think beyond where you are, but in your mind, there's always some construct of 21, 22, that sort of thing. But you don't picture anything beyond 25.
No.
So even if you had a plan, sort of plan. I was doing air quotes for the audio audience.
Quote 5-year plan or something dumb like that.
You don't see 30. Mm-hmm. You don't see 33, 35, 40. Because then you can't.
No.
And as the older I get, I realize, well, I don't feel different. No. I have more responsibility.
Yeah.
But the older I get, the responsibility I have feels less like it's just, this is my life.
Mm-hmm. We haven't made it real late yet, but
we're not old. A 50-year-old
would date a late 30s person.
Sure.
But I think if I was like 28 and like my best buddy was like 17, I'd be like, oh, you're great, but we're not going to share the same experience on this.
Right.
But I feel like we've crossed a threshold here.
Yeah, for sure.
And where like now 30s, 50s, 60s, who cares? And I don't know yet. I didn't make it there. Maybe I'll say I hate 30-year-olds when I'm 50. I don't know. But I don't hear that very often.
Well,
I don't hear that sentiment very often.
There's that thing that you hear of when you think about yourself at whatever age you were at, whatever your ideals were, whatever your opinions were, however you expressed them, however you expressed yourself, the older you get from that, you go, oh, I was insufferable.
Yeah, I do that every year.
And then you do that now, and I think that now I go, well, what's me at 43 going to say about me at 33?
Well, there's that. There's the personal thing.
Right.
But I don't think that other people, I think in your 20s, other people literally, can't stand anyone.
Right.
And, but I
Mostly
don't think,
probably themselves.
But I think it's, sure. But, I just mean, people older than their 20s, when they see 20-year-olds, can't stand them.
Yeah.
But I don't think that we can't personally stand ourselves at 30 when we're 50, but when we meet a 30-year-old when we're 50, we don't think they're brats, usually.
Right, that's true.
I don't think that happens.
You go, oh, nice young man.
Yeah, they're like, oh, cool, and you feel almost the same age sometimes even.
Yeah, it's like your peers.
But I totally agree with you that your personal assessment of yourself is always that you were a total jerk-off when you were a couple years old.
Can't believe I was like that. Yeah.
And then maybe that's good. You felt like you
I think it's growth.
Yeah.
Or it's just, I don't know. It's, we'll call it growth.
Yeah, hopefully that's what it is, because a lot of people do that. I know a lot of people that do what you just described.
Well, and it's interesting because we're all on the same. Go with me on this. Existentially speaking, we're all on the same journey. We're all born, we age until whatever age we are, and then we die. So all of us are doing that. Together, but then like different. You got married when you were 25, so you've been like, I've never been married.
Yeah, that's a good thing to talk about too.
You know what I mean?
That dynamic, like
so
for you, as like I've kind of shared my life more with listeners just inadvertently because I'm on here a lot. But do you get grief? Do you get grief about like that old Ohioan? Oh, like when are you gonna settle down, Sonny, and all that?
No,
okay,
I don't. Good. I don't. But
not that I would ever give you grief about.
No, because that's something like you'd hear from like a parent or something like that.
Yeah.
But my parents already know that it's a dream I've not had.
Was it a struggle to get them to know that? Or
no,
were they cool?
No, they've always they know. They know who I am. Plus, we don't really talk very much. We're not close.
Sure.
We don't dislike each other.
Right.
We're just not
hanging out all the time.
Right. Yeah. We don't know each other that well.
That's good though that you don't have some pressure in the back. I don't. Of somebody or whatever it is.
And I think I've gotten to a point where I would say, "Hey, listen, this is me. I will do as I like.
Yeah.
And you do as you like. Leave me alone.
And you give
back off.
And you give each other such good like back and forth in that. Like me and my wife really like to talk to our single friends and hear what's going on. And they love talking to us and being like, what do you guys do every day? What's going on here? Like it's as fascinating. I mean, I know the commonplace thing is that their life is exciting and ours is boring. But I have found that it's not so much. It's more just that we're both fascinated by each other's like lives, like,
right?
Completely equally. It's like kind of fun. Like I love talking to my single friends about adventures that they go on, or like sitcom sounding dates with like, oh my god, that guy said that on the date. Like it's all great. Like I love that stuff. I eat that up.
My life is not that dissimilar from yours though. I guess you'd call me a serial monogamist. The last 3 relationships I've been in they've been like 2 years plus.
Yeah, it's not like everyone's out there on dates all the time.
Right, and we've like lived together. It's like I'm very much a kept man.
Right. You still settled down in some way.
Exactly, just not in the legal sense.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
And not I don't know. It's just I think about, and I don't know what it is, but I think about myself at a wedding or at anything. At a thing where a guy says, you and you are now legally, and I can't picture it. It doesn't mean that I love my girlfriend any less.
Oh, sure.
Or anything like that. I just can't picture that happening. And I don't know what that means. Mm-hmm. It's most likely some deficiency. By deficiency, I mean some difference in me that other people, that I don't share.
Okay, sure.
With everybody else. Because, some people, that's their, can't wait to, and I have never, when I was a kid, I remember this distinctly, when I was a kid, my dad's dad lived in North Carolina, and we would go down there sometimes. And I remember my dad was driving, and my sister was in the front seat. I was in the back seat reading Jurassic Park. I remember that. And we were going down this mountain, like the highway down the side of a mountain. And I was like, I can't wait until, but I imagined myself married, driving my wife down there to visit the family.
Did you have a kid in the back reading Jurassic Park?
No, there was no kid.
No, that's cool. Well, I mean...
And a lot of people have kids, which...
They have kids, yeah.
You don't, I don't.
No, we don't have... Like, we probably share a lot more similarities in the settling down concept than we think we do.
Oh, no, for sure.
What you're illustrating. But also, to me, like a lot of guys... marriage is very obviously a construct. It doesn't mean a whole lot to me. I knew I wasn't leaving. I was like, I'm not leaving.
Right.
If you want to do this, that's fine. I'm not going anywhere. And I was kind of like a typical guy about it, which is surprising because I'm not like that in most areas of my life.
Right.
But I was this way, and so like to me, though I'm happy to be married and it's great, like I don't put a lot of meaning on the institution still.
Sure.
And like, but I do feel bad when people I know who like are gay or something like are scared to get married because they're scared of what people say to them, or they're scared people I know who like might have a different identity are scared to share that. It doesn't have to even have to do with marriage.
Right.
I mean, I still feel for everyone's relationships, but
Right.
I mean, they're all defined pretty differently. So I think you kind of grew up in a modern time where deficiency as compared to a few people, sure, but
Right, no,
we
I-
kind of opened our minds all together in this generation about
That's true.
that crap.
And that's
you know?
good.
Yeah.
I am proud of us.
Yeah, we did good. We're hard workers too. Like a lot of people I know do work really hard. They're 30. They're right on that weird line where some of them can't even understand computers, and some
Right.
of them are these whizzes.
Yeah.
And like,
well, it's because we all
weird.
got it right at that age.
Yeah.
Because I remember my first. It was in school. We had a computer lab, Mr. whoever that guy was.
Reeves.
Yeah, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like just at that right time where I'm like, I'm going to remember this because I am still a sponge for knowledge.
And some people were just not quite there. Like there's just like
Some people were just
someone
under,
right down the
just
block.
over.
Yeah. Or like, how do you do this now? How do I
like some people don't have the smartphone. Some
Yeah.
people aren't Facebook, and you don't need these things, but they're helpful.
Yeah, they're helpful, and they're also
They
like
help
they
you
always
interact
ask
with the world
people
as it is.
how to find things that they're on already. Like, like it's always like weird. They're like on like a social media platform, and they're like, "How do I do this?" And you're like, "I get it, man. You it's kind of cool that you're not so connected that you
Right.
can't stand yourself. It's nice, but it's
Right.
weird that you're on the internet asking about something.
Just go on YouTube.
You're on the internet,
like
ready.
Google "How do I," and it's going to tell you.
I'm like, yeah, I get it. Local suggestions, fun, just socializing, but it scares me otherwise. Oh, my wife's coming. It's the same thing we always do. We'll just let her walk in and be like, "What are you two doing?" and be in the background. I was about to like move us to the
Just
back room
podcasting.
because like maybe we should. Let's go to the back room.
Let's run.
Yeah, because I think she's with my uncle-in-law. I don't want to sit there and explain and be like, "We're doing it." Doesn't matter. But anyways, we jumped onto what? You said Jurassic Park. Something made me think. Yeah, you were reading a book. You had a vision of you driving your wife. Okay, speak to that some more. Go ahead and, if you want, just get this out of here. Sorry.
Oh no, and it's just that's the only time I've ever had that sort of a thought of
Sure.
being married.
Oh, but why'd you have the thought? You don't know.
I don't
You
know.
just had it.
It was
Okay.
just a vision. It was, and I remember the road. I remember how it looked.
Mm-hmm.
Hot rod. Well done.
Hot rod, yeah. Yeah, I like there's a way I haven't grown up if we're going to talk about stuff like this today. I like a bunch of dumb, like, comedy still. Can't even watch X-Files without getting scared. I'm like a wuss. Like, I just like comedy. I like all just, like, dumb comedy. I like that. I like that movie, That's My Boy. No one likes that movie.
That's a terrible movie.
I love that movie.
Are you moved by drama?
Yeah, I like
Then
drama.
you're okay.
Yeah, I liked Bluebird or whatever, Blue Jay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like Ghost Dog is probably my favorite
Nice.
drama movie, if you can
He's
call it
in
a drama
everything
movie.
right now.
He really is.
Like, right
dude.
now, he's in like 4 films.
He so deserves it though. Like I don't think he's ever made one bad career move. Like he's just like that good in everything he
Good.
did.
And
Forrest
he's got
Whitaker.
that eye, and
Yeah, he's got a weird eye.
he's killing it.
Yeah, man. But so you were reading Jurassic Park in the back seat. I don't know. You made me think of something. I don't know what. Why don't we talk a little bit about people? I don't know if I want to totally engage in the same way, but I don't know if you and me really. We kind of dabbled in bringing CDs to dances before. We talked about that on air on podcast.
Is it okay that my feet are on?
Yeah, go ahead. Put your feet on. That's why I put it there. But like. Maybe some pop culture stuff from when you were in your 20s. Yeah, like how that.
I know you're gonna edit this because we're it's very loose right now.
No, leave it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine.
I just don't want anyone to be bored.
Nah, it's fine.
Okay.
This is the B-sides.
This is
like
these
if
are
anyone's here now, they want to be here.
That's
I mean,
true.
who's gonna pursue this if they don't want it?
I'm gonna be listening.
This is the B-sides to the
weird?
B-sides of Third Class and Bullshit. Like this is only if you really care.
I enjoy listening to the ones that we do. Like Like I get excited.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't wait to hear what I said.
Yeah, it's fun because I kind of forget. Yeah,
I do. I forget.
Yeah.
I go, man, that was clever. Or, oh, I sound crazy.
It's normal. No, it's normal. You can't catch it all. Yeah.
But I wonder if that makes me a narcissist. Doesn't matter.
It's fine.
Pop culture. In my 20s, that's when I got really seriously into indie hip hop from Minnesota. So that's like Atmosphere, POS, Doomtree. That's a crew. They put out Dessa. She's one of them. Mike Micklon. I got really into that. Nice. And like I said, I operated off of how I felt. So these things made me feel sad, or because it was about, it's like about girls and that sort of struggle, which is not, which is struggle. It is. When that's the only thing that's wrong, that's something that's wrong. But how you feel, and they would touch on things like poverty and social issues. But
that's pretty cool. What's up?
Where's Jeremy?
He's in his crate.
Hi.
Sorry. That was mandatory for me and Tim episode.
She came in so slow and creepy. It was awesome.
Yeah. I think she was like waiting for my pug to like run to. Like, she probably thought he was like in there.
Where's Jeremy?
Yeah.
That's great.
But anyhow, yeah. In my 20s, I suppose I
Warped Tour. I went to a couple Warped Tours.
Warped Tour. I did that. Yeah, I did that. I got into some. I guess I kind of stayed a little bit the same in the genres, like just rock and like boring white guy rock type stuff. But
Ben Folds, he had quite a career during our 20s.
Same old, like Presidents, Ben Folds, all that good stuff. And then I did go through like in my, I guess like early 20s, I definitely liked jazz a little bit.
Yeah, I think everyone tries.
Yeah.
And
it's like it doesn't really stick, but it's like one or two albums stay.
Yeah.
Like John Coltrane, everybody loved that crap. I ate that up. I liked Love Supreme really well.
For sure.
And that's still good. But yeah, I kind of fell off. Like my friend Billy kind of got me into Brad Mehldau and all those modern artists. And
well, you want to. It's something that it's a great idea. The idea of I like jazz, and you want to, because if you think about jazz as a concept, and if you think about it as an art form, it's amazing. But it at the same time as it being amazing in concept, it's not always amazing. Like it doesn't. Like some people can sit down and listen to anything by anybody that's jazz, and they're like love it. And then I'm that's not me.
No, I think
I love the idea, but I'm not.
No. My buddy might still be cool with. He might have been the only one that like
Billy?
Conceptualized it right. Yeah, like because I think he liked the Bad Plus, Brad Mehldau, and he might have liked older stuff too. And like,
well, he was big into Zappa in high school.
Yeah, he like kind of had that.
Zappa was
thing.
a jazz guy.
And like, I don't care about Zappa at all now. I did enjoy it at the time, and it definitely influenced me and the guys a little. But
for
like,
sure, your early stuff.
Yeah, but like, and I don't think it sucks or anything. But I can't like do it or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
like
and there's so much.
Yeah,
he put out so many albums. Like he put over, oh gosh, it's close to 100 records. It's so many.
Man.
So many.
And even other bands like that, like prog rock, I really do like a lot. But I do kind of, as I just enter my 30, I'm just 32 right now at the recording of this, about to be 33 a few weeks. But I don't know, like even like Yes and like some of these bands that like I didn't like think they were amazing when I was younger, but there was a time maybe in my mid to later 20s that like I was like listening to their albums and I listened to their new stuff and I kind of kept paying attention. I'm kind of falling off now, and I'm kind of doing what I don't know. Like I had an episode called "The Adventures of Lee and Pete," or "The Adventures of Pete and Lee." It was my interview with this guy from Amprion Recorder in downtown Youngstown named Pete Drevere, who's a relatively like legendary engineer in this area in Youngstown. And he told me he thought there was something, basically he said there's something wrong with you if you didn't just go listen to the stuff you listened to when you're a kid again. And I was always, I mean, I always try to listen to new music. I listen to lots of new music still, but this year I really, really, really fell hard back in love with all my old stuff.
Oh,
and it felt good. I like started just listening to like just crap stuff that I didn't even like at the time. But now like LFO and just BS stuff like that. And like In Sync and all this crap. Like
today I was listening to a song by Mudvayne
Yeah. Mudvayne, yeah.
Like
And
that metal stuff from like 2000.
Mm-hmm. And that stuff was so important because they had these musicians that none of them did the same thing, and that really struck a chord
for
with
sure.
me. And I wanted to do that, and that was awesome. But that's the only reason they're cool, is that because they utilized all 3, 4, 5, whoever was in the band, to all do a different job.
Yeah.
And like that's the only reason they're cool. Their songs sucked,
Absolutely.
but like they just mechanically knew
Yeah.
exactly how to operate their bands. Like I was like, the bass part's not the guitar part. That's amazing.
Right, and especially with a group like that, where it's
Yeah.
like Primus in that way.
Yeah, they're
I
a good
listened to a
example.
lot of Primus when I was in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like I was trying to figure out who I was, as we all still are.
Mm-hmm.
Who am I? Existentially, but like a lot of that has to do with, well, what is it that I like?
Yeah.
What you like says a lot about who you are, or we think it does.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it actually does. I think they can be separate. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think your choice of music. I think when you're in your late teens and your early 20s,
Mm-hmm.
the only thing that matters is what you like, not what you are like.
Yeah.
To you and to other people in that age group. But
Mm-hmm.
the older I get, man, the more distance I get from it, I just feel like I can chill out. Like I cared so much about so many things, deeply, deeply I did, and I would get so upset, and just passionate about things, and now I can be cool.
Yeah.
I can just be like, because I have the ability to look at 2 points of view and go, well, they both have merit.
Mm-hmm.
It seems that either side of this argument, it's just opinion. And I don't get so upset about things because I don't have an opinion. And that's okay. Because I felt like, I should feel passionately for this or for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you realize, it doesn't really matter. Like
No, it's not. It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling.
It is. You can. It's important that it was there,
Right.
because it's part of the human experience.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's like it's not a cycle. No, it's never the same as anybody else. It's never.
Mm-hmm.
We don't all have stations that we stop at or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's not to sidetrack from that, but like it's relatively relieving, kind of find like a little bit of meaninglessness, because then you know that like nobody was so mad at you for your mistakes.
Exactly.
And like
exactly, that's such a good point.
Yeah, and that's kind of stuff that like I've been kind of like dogging listeners about the new album, because we have an album called Virginia's Playlist.
Wait, what?
Yeah, and it's on thirdclass.net. But there's a couple little references to Alan Watts on the album.
Oh, cool.
And I just wanted to tie that in here because like it's not like I studied the guy and know all his stuff, but like my dad was into him as around the age we're talking about, and he took a road trip to try to go find the guy and like meet him in California. And he wasn't there when they got there, but the point was him and his buddy took this trip. And so I wrote a couple little things about that, and there's one song about that on the album. But Watts, one of his big things that he seemed to do, like for me or for the people of more his time when he was back, because he was a philosopher and he went and did like talks everywhere, schools and stuff like that. His thing was like, don't worry about like isn't it just great that you don't have to worry so much about like all that crap? Like why did you think it was so big? Like, well, isn't it great to know that life is nothing, and that you're nothing, and that you'll be nothing, and that like there's no pressure on. Like, and that was kind of one of his like big messages he would put out there. And like, I'm not coming at it, not trying to do the Franz Kafka thing where I'm like, it's depressing that nothing means anything.
And it's not.
It's like, it makes me happy that nothing might mean like exactly the same thing to everyone or anything at all.
And it opens the possibility or truth or whatever that we can assign meaning to things that we personally find meaningful, and it can still be okay. Like it's like you're not doing anything wrong,
right? Caring
about things.
Yeah, and you want so badly for people to kind of talk to you about how to do. You're like, please just tell me how to live, and like,
and then the answer is you just live.
Yeah, and like but you just want that so bad when you're very like a young man or a young woman or a young whoever. Like, and yeah, so my brother wrote a lot of lyrics to a couple of songs that had to do with that were like about what my dad must have been like as a young boy who was out to see the world, like, and it's fun because he wrote it as a young, like, Jack's probably started writing that. I think he started writing for his thesis in college, so he was like 22 or younger or whatever. So like, it's funny that you're sitting there going through the exact same thing, writing about someone who went through that and stuff. Like, it's like
I said, like, it's almost like we all have stations we stop at,
right?
But at the same time, we don't.
Right.
There's the perhaps it's that there's the opportunity to. It's like not the same thing, but I wrote this thing down on my phone. I'm going to read it to you real quick.
Okay.
It's very rough. It's not. It's not anything. It's just a thought that I had. I'm going to find it here in a second. Vamp.
Oh, me, yeah.
Advertise something.
So, guys, Nursery is brought to you by the Orange Avocado, 1393 Boardman, Ohio. It's Juicery. We sell oatmeal. We sell smoothie bowls. We sell wheatgrass boost shots and cannon shots. It's also brought to you by Timeless Shots Photography. Go to timelessshots.com. Check out my friend Brandon's work. He'll come to your wedding. He'll photograph your family. He'll even photograph your band or do something artsy for you. He's got kind of both sides to that kind of thing. And, of course, it's brought to you by the Jimmy Fro Indie Music Show. iTunes. Check him out on iTunes. Rate, review, listen. He brings in all these Youngstown, Warren area musicians and makes them feel special. Interviews them, makes them feel like they're really doing something worthwhile, which they are, but he just really puts a nice little cap on the idea. So, again, Orange Avocado, Timeless Shots Photography, and Jimmy Fro Indie Music Show. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode. And yeah, to plug it right here, go to thirdclass.net for the music and bullskit.com for the comedy.
There's this thing that you see in the Midwest. I was looking through. I feel like this is me. I'm not reading, I'm talking. Mm-hmm. Anytime I look through Facebook for too long at people that I went to school with, this is what, there's this thing that happens in the Midwest. There's a couple. He works at a labor job. She's a homemaker. 2 or 3 kids. Get the family photos every year. Like they're reading a recipe for their life. Son plays football. They drink beer, smoke cigarettes, and they're fiercely proud to be working class. Heroically living a razor-thin budget. And then the kids go to the same school and grow up and marry high school sweethearts and buy a house on the same street. And excited grandparents become great-grandparents. From the outside, it looks like people in a line waiting to partake in the same life events they have seen every other person before them live through. Now it's time to graduate. Now it's time to be a parent. Now I'm retiring. And it's so boring. And that's what I wrote. But that's what I'm trying.
So you wrote that because you were kind of saying, you were like, do those guys are they really like gonna do this every time? Like,
right.
Yeah.
And it's like we're all reading from the same manual.
Yeah.
And I'm not being.
No, it is changing. With our generation, it just is changing, whether we even wanted to or not. It just is. Like technological advancements, like just things, like whatever the reason is, like kind of depressing to find out what the reasons are sometimes.
Yeah.
But it is changing slowly. It feels a little bit more imminent because we're here. We're
in a good way?
Well,
or it's going more towards. Is it going towards what I wrote? Or away from?
No, I'd say away.
Well, that's good.
But I don't know if that's good. I think it's good.
Yeah.
But,
no, for me it's good. What I wrote, that was, I don't know, it was a criticism, mm-hmm. but it was also just, this is what I see.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good. I mean,
and again, that's a first draft. That's just
that was nice. That was nice. It was.
You keep your critiques to yourself.
Yeah. It was like poetry though. And it was nice. So, to take us out then,
yeah.
you brought us kind of up to now how you were, like, happy not to have an opinion. right? So
yes, thank you.
What's
That's
your
exactly
guess?
it.
Yeah. So what's your guess now? We'll take us out with your guesses about you in the future, and like we'll apply that to the listeners afterwards. But you personally, what do you think you'll be like in your 40s? Let's say.
I will hopefully. Without ever practicing the art of Zen, or having to meditate, or attend any classes, or anything like that, I will hopefully be as Zen as a person can possibly be 10 years from now. If my mind can be as it is now, amplified like 10 times, I'm just going to be okay.
Now, that's something you feel, is that something to bring us back to our little... Is that something you want to happen, or is it something you think should happen, or is it the same?
I think it's what I think.
Yeah,
it's the same. Yeah, it's I've tried many times to be like, well, I'll take control of this thing, but that's never when I let go. When I go, all right, I'm just here, and I'm just living, and then everything calms down.
Yeah, I suppose like
everything gets quiet.
It would be really
in
weird.
The most in a good way.
It would be weird if you were working really hard the next 10 years to make sure you had even a less of an opinion than you do now.
Right.
So it makes sense that you're kind of looking to let go.
Do I sound like an asshole?
No, I think like wanting
because that
not
is
to have
a fear.
An opinion is sometimes in some instances feels okay. Like
because it's mostly when I have. If I have an opportunity to be a dick to somebody or judge someone or whatever, I can just shrug my shoulders and say, I don't know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
once in a while,
somebody comes up, oh, what do you think of this person and this?
Well, that's good. If you really
just,
feel that way, that's great.
That's just where I am.
Yeah. Because what I do is...
Because that's how I feel, but then sometimes it's really easy to jump in with a crowd and be like, yeah, they're this and then that. And then you feel... I don't know.
Nah, I mean, I think there's also a question of zooming out a little bit.
I enjoy distance.
Yeah, like, I think I kind of do... This is probably not great all the time, but I tend to try to pretend that whoever's got the opinion that is, like, the opposite of mine is somehow still agreeing with me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, hey, it's all connected, man. You and me actually do think the same thing. I'm always like zooming out and generalizing.
Big picture, sure.
Yeah, and like that's probably not good to do all the time either, at all. But like I do truly think like a lot of times I meet somebody who might not support some of the same ideals as me, and I'm like we're all good though. Like it's like so I think I sometimes may arrive somewhere near the same conclusion that you're describing.
Yeah,
but
just in a different way.
Yeah, through trying to justify the hell out of their side.
I wonder if all roads lead to,
That's how it feels to me, but I feel like that's.
I mean, that's a very broad statement, and it's dangerous to make it, and I'm not going to. All I'll say is that it feels like any attempt towards or away is still going to lead you to there's a thing I read on the internet. It was like a meme or whatever, and a wise man once said nothing.
Yeah.
And that moved me, and I was like, that's right. Because not in a don't speak up, it's just in there is wisdom in silence.
Oh, okay.
A wise person doesn't have all the answers. A wise person knows when to speak and when not to. A wise man once said, nothing.
Okay.
That's how I take it. I don't know how anyone else takes it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it struck me.
Yeah.
And it helped, and I found that to be helpful, and that's a goal, and I wake up with that sometimes. Go to bed with it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never really thought. I've seen something like that before for sure. But yeah, maybe if that's kind of like your
and I think it's
goal.
Also, because I have no religion, I have no faith or anything like that.
Right.
But I do attempt to not be a shitty person, because we are all that we have.
Yeah.
People, and I think it's good for us to be good to each other.
Right.
And that's not a faith. I guess
Well, now
that's
that I kind of disagree. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe it is.
no.
Or
I was pretending to disagree with your good to be good to each other.
I don't know if you would call it humanism or what. I don't know what it is, but
I think the technical term is squad goals. AF.
Hashtag squad goals. That's wonderful.
Like, I don't know if it's a humanitarian thing, a humanism thing, or if it's more just squad goals AF. But no,
I don't care for young people. That's terrible.
Yeah, we like. Now we're gonna make fun of 20-year-olds the rest of the episode. No, man,
they're cool.
No, that's good. I'm glad we've
are
mellowed. I think.
Yeah,
as we got older,
I feel mellow, and I don't like. I used to have to smoke a whole bunch of weed to feel that much clarity, and I do it. I don't even have caffeine anymore. Like I am.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I quit smoking cigarettes almost a year ago, and I smoked for like 18 years. And when that happened, because I was ready, and I finished the pack I had, and I've yet to want to smoke again, which is really, really cool. It wasn't that difficult.
And you stopped smoking because... I love when the stuff lines up. You stop smoking because you should and because you wanted to.
Right.
It doesn't always line up, but it feels good when it does.
And it was so funny. I told my doctor, because he's been on me for years to quit smoking, and I went in, I said, well, I quit smoking. And he said, great, welcome to the rest of us. And that's exactly it. And I maybe childishly I was probably like, he's going to be so proud of me, but he wasn't. He was like, now you are where you should be, And that
welcome to the rest.
Welcome to the rest of
like
us.
that.
And it was great, and it was what he needed to say. It was right. It was absolutely right. Fuck me.
Awesome.
Fuck me being proud of that.
That's the message here.
You know what I mean? How dare I? And I shouldn't. You shouldn't be proud of that. You should. You have joined everyone else who no longer does a disgusting habit, and some who never have.
Yeah, that's cool.
But ever since then, I haven't. There's been no need for chemicals. I can just be.
That's awesome, man.
And it feels good. It feels good.
That's good, man. Well, hey, listeners, hopefully
I'm sorry if this was awful. I feel weird about
it was good. I think we gave some insight into what it's like to maybe be a Midwesterner coping with age, and
we weren't funny.
Oh,
and I think maybe that's what I'm worried about. Sorry,
we got skits and stuff for that. This is the introspective hour with Lee and Tim.
Okay.
So yeah, guys, thanks for listening. Hopefully, if you're somebody out there who's in your 20s and you're on your way to your 30s, take solace in that. It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
It'll be in most cases. You can't speak for everybody.
And you're gonna perspective. You gain with age comes wisdom, I guess. Sometimes, and perspective. That's been the greatest gift.
Yeah, man.
To be able to see other people, even if I disagree with them, to say, all right, that's crazy, but I do understand why you feel that way. That's because that's priceless for me, because then I don't give them shit about their ideas.
Yeah.
Because I know why they have them.
Yeah. So you got that to look forward to.
It's going to be great, guys. And you're not going to be worried so much, and you're not going to be so sad.
Yeah. And other listeners, not in your 20s, older listeners, say maybe future Lee and Tim.
Right. Sorry.
I'm so sorry we're such little brats. Okay, look, Mom.
We're on a podcast.
Big book that they're reprinting at the school. It's an old textbook for one of my courses, and it's real expensive, and it's real big, and it's real old. And so they're going to be printing them up after the holidays. I wasn't going to be able to afford to get one, and now I can put the gift money toward it, so I'll be really happy to have that book, and I'll always remember where I got it. So thank you very much.
On top of a roof, gazing at the sea, philosophical light shining under me, packing our bags and hitting the road, searching for dreams inside a houseboat. Alan Watts' face is so close to home. Alan Watts' face is so close to home. shores, seagulls above and waves coming in. Cancer is beating under my skin. Thousands of light bulbs in the garage. Maybe this Watts is just a mirage. Alan Watts' face is so close to home. Alan Watts' face is so close to home. Full of confetti and hopes. Wanting somebody to tell him how to live. Dad was still just a young man. But truth is a difficult, difficult, difficult word. Alan Watts' face is so close to home. Alan Watts' face is so close to home. Alan Watts' face is so close to home. Alan Watts' face is so close to home.